I'm here today with a special occasion with our Bold coach, Melanie. Melanie, say hi to everybody.
Hi guys, I am so excited to be here with you today, you Denton, and just thanks for having me and coming to Plano. I'm so excited.
Yeah, no, we're stoked. It is going to be a tremendous Bold. But before we jump into that, tell us a little bit about yourself for those that may not know who Melanie is.
Well, I'm Melanie Kennemann here in Austin, Texas. I have been with Keller Williams for 19 years, 17 years as a team leader.
Wow.
Team Leader Hall of Fame. I'm a KWU Master Faculty Trainer, so I actually travel all around the country teaching the highest level stuff you can teach in this company, which is called career visioning, helping top people really build empires. I've been doing that all year, and I actually have hosted myself as a team leader 20 Bolds.
Wow.
And this is the year when I heard that Gary rewrote it and I heard the content. I had to teach this. I had to teach this because this is so in alignment with every top person that I've worked with the last 17 years of my career. And I'm just so excited to be out with your people and
That's
come
amazing.
and change lives together.
So you've ran and hosted 20 Bolds.
I have 20 Bolds. The first one was I started my real estate career. I was in film and television before I did real estate.
Okay.
And so I'm from West Coast, but I had been in Germany running movie sets. My kids were born there, came back, and I joined Keller Williams as a new agent, became a team leader, all that stuff. Then they recruited me to Austin. And honestly, I had Bold in Reno. And, I got into the market in 2006, and you know what was happening then, right?
Of course.
And Nevada was #1 in foreclosures. And
The
so
beginning
I
of
was
the
like,
end.
What's that?
It was the beginning of the end.
Yes, it was. And I make a joke that I believe that the day I got licensed is when the market crashed. There was like a loud noise. I'm like, what was that? And so we learned how to help people out of really hard situations. And I became team leader, took us to #1 in that city, #1 in our region. But I also brought Bold, and Bold had just been written.
That's amazing.
And I didn't know what it was. I'm like, okay, if it helps my people, great. I'm going to take a stand for my people because that's what I do. The transformation I saw in that room was incredible. And
That's
so
amazing.
ever since then, I've hosted another 19 here in Austin. And now I get to be the Bold coach, which is a
Wow.
huge, I knew it was part of my journey, but it has arrived. And I am so excited
That's
to
awesome.
change lives in a room with people. It's
Well,
incredible.
that leads me to my next question. I know we'll get to it in a second about the new Bold, but what is Bold from holistically? What is it from a big picture?
Yeah, from a big picture, Bold is really a coaching program,
Okay.
right? And it's about accountability and consistency because we all love training. And I love that we are such creatures of going to education and things like that. Well, the difference with Bold between the others of when we go to something that's an incredible convention is
Sure.
a lot of times we go home and we put the book on the shelf and we need to get to it and all our notes sit there and we have, it's the library of good intentions kind of thing. Well, do you have, I have some of those.
I might
don't
have
know
one
if
of
you-
those.
One or two, maybe.
Yeah.
Bold doesn't allow you to get away with that. Bold is 7 weeks. It's 6 actual coaching full days.
Okay.
We do a gap, there's step 1, which is everybody can come and kind of check it out. And then we skip a week, which is family reunion for us, which is great. And then it's 5 more weeks of every Thursday we're in there and we're coaching. And there's accountability. You're on teams with people. Every week is about mindset, and we'll talk a little bit about the differences now, but basically Bold is a get into action program.
Love that.
It's a habit forming, right? It's a habit forming. It's like 20 contacts a day. Like you got to do the work in Bold. And when you do the work in Bold, the magic happens. And it's about kind of like reframing. We're all busy, too busy for Bold, all the things, whether you can have all the reasons in the world. I don't have the money, I don't have this.
That's right.
But really, there's no thing you could do that's better right now in Q1 to go to like base camp for yourself. And I don't care if you're $100 million producer or a $0 million producer.
Yeah.
There's room for growth. And that's what Bold is about. Bold is about action, but it all starts with the way you think. And when you can really work and master on the way you think, that becomes your habits. That's how you show up. That's the integrity you have to your word and commitments. It shows up in everything in your life. So it's like just such a great program for working on you as the whole person. It's incredible.
Yeah. No, and I think you hit the nail on the head. At the end of the day, right, we have the Tim Howell stories who did it at 23, had to borrow money from his sister. Yeah. And then there's a gentleman in Gary's mastermind with me. He did about 600 or 700 homes last year. and he's been to Bold, I think, over a dozen times in his entire team. Like, and that is the core of how he's built his business, right? And he still goes.
Exactly.
He still
And
goes.
he still goes.
He still goes.
I love that. I love that you said that. Gina Ront here in Austin.
That's right.
Same thing. Same
right.
thing. He was maxed out at 400,000 GCI, and you know, this is right when Bold was written, and he, you know, and I love Gary.
Yeah.
But he says openly he was coaching with Gary Keller, but it was Bold. It was Bold that had where he had the breakthrough.
Yeah.
And he would take his whole team like rainmakers. Why wouldn't you be taking your whole team and be in there with your people? Because you get to go like shoulder to shoulder in the same clear vision, and you will all come out different people together when you do this right.
That's
It's
right.
incredible.
That's right. All right. Well, I'm going to throw an objection at you. I know I didn't tell you that. So my first objection, I heard Bold is different. What's different? That's the number one objection we're getting right now. So
I
there's some
love
people
that.
that have gone to Bold, of course. You know,
Yes.
I've been lucky to go to about 10 of them. We have one
Okay.
agent in our market center, Terry McCoy. She's been to 20. And they all ask,
got me.
what's different? So share with us, Melanie, what's different with this Bold?
Well, and I'm gonna be real honest with you
Yeah.
because, like I said, I only know how to be real honest, first of all.
Very good.
But after hosting 20 Bolds, I've heard the whole like, oh, this is new. It's rewritten, and it's like 3 pages. And I'm like, listen, this is the integrity of my word now. Like,
Right.
I put my relationship on the line. My people signed up because of me and me taking a stand, and you change 3 pages and tell me it's new. This is not that. I really have like 100%. I hope that you believe me. Those of you who don't know me, if you knew me, you would know that I'm speaking the truth. Denton, honestly, I was sitting, so I'm a MAPS leadership coach as well. I coach team leaders across the country.
Yeah.
I stepped out of my team leader role August 1st to be full-time with people. And like I said, I'm already traveling, but I was sitting in a mastermind with MAPS coaches and Gary Keller. And I heard Gary Keller talking about Onward BOLD and how he'd rewritten it. And he started talking about the bold truths, which weren't there before. There's 10 bold truths.
Yeah.
The first one's happiness is a choice. I shared that with you. And all the ones he was saying, and I start messaging with Cody Gibson and Jason Abrams, they're like, Mel, you need to be out teaching this. It was so in alignment. It was so different for me. I'm a team leader. By heart, I'm not in the role anymore, but like Gary Keller says, his will say realtor, mine will say team leader.
Yeah.
It's who I am. I lead people. I help people see the greatness in them. I've worked with the very best and still continue to be so close with some of the very best people in our industry because I see the greatness. There's always room for something else. So for what's new about it? Well, have you heard of the Misogi Challenge? Have you ever heard of that before?
I was lucky to hear Gary talk about it, and I went and Googled it, and I saw Joe Rogan talk about it with Jesse Itzler. So I know a little bit, but please share. I love your perspective on it.
It's so I went, when I first heard it, I was like, what is that? I had never heard of it before.
Yeah, me neither.
And let me just tell you, this is the manual, by the way.
Nice.
Do you see the difference? This is Gary's artwork. Like, does this look anything like our old Bold? But he starts, it opens up with the Misogi Challenge. And what that is it's a Japanese kind of a mindset around doing something so hard every year.
Yeah.
That's almost not even possible. And so some people tie it to, like a physical thing, like an ultra marathon or whatever. But honestly, make bold your Misogi was the intention of Gary. Is what if every agent at Keller Williams, like how could we have them have that breakthrough? Because see, when you do something that's so difficult, and I'm talking about don't just do bold to do bold, like go all in bold, like
That's
do
right.
the work. Be uncomfortable on camera. There's a lot of social media stuff that wasn't there before. Guys, social media is not going away. A lot of people, I'm big on video. I have podcasts, all the things. Like I'm very comfortable on camera. So I work with a lot of people who are not.
Yeah.
And they'll say, but I just don't, no, I don't like how I look. And I'm like, okay, number one, that is who you are. So we got to get over that. I mean, when you go on a listing appointment, that's who you are,
That's right.
So why wouldn't you use social media to your advantage? So Ken Pozak, for example, we all know Ken Pozak.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Ken. Thanks for sharing.
Ken's amazing, right? And I know he's come and talked to your people, right?
That's
He's
right.
incredible. But how he went from Detroit to Orlando, knew nobody, and built a whole business on YouTube, and he's
Amazing.
incredible. So actually, that's part of Bold now too, is his whole success through all the social media, different steps from like who am I to the different intentionality around having social media and playing at a higher level. But you think about the Misogi challenge is like, what's going to change me? And you think about things when like you stretch something out, right? Does it ever go back to how it was before?
No, maybe a little bit, but it doesn't go fully retraction.
Yeah, it never does. It never does. It might, especially when you stop doing the activities, it might shrink a little bit, but it's
That's right.
never going to go back to the space where you have the knowledge that you didn't have before. And that's what the intention is, like doing things that you didn't think was possible. So by doing bold and playing all in and giving it all to yourself and your team members and your family and saying, I'm going to make those 20 contacts again. Okay, fine, I'm going to shoot this video. Yeah, great, I'm a $100 million producer. Maybe it's like time with my family that I need.
Yeah.
Maybe my life's really out of balance. Maybe my challenge that I'm going to have through bold is to have a better relationship with my spouse or whatever that is. You see, life is an inside-out job, and what's different about bold is we talk about that. We
That's
teach
amazing.
you how to think. And so, bold has always been amazing as far as what to say, having the confidence to do it, all of that. But it's a whole different level. This is Gary Keller's mind and brain on every single page of this. It's all of his best lessons and thoughts and stories. And so I love that. In fact, when he was writing it, he wrote it with Cody Gibson and Jason Abrams, right? And there were some other maps people that helped. But he literally didn't want to look at the old content. Gary Keller's never sat through bold, right? And he didn't want to be influenced it. So like there's 38 bold laws.
Right.
Only 8 of them stayed, because they were also great. Only 8 stayed, 30 are new.
Wow.
So, and there's point systems, like you can, or, because we still have the fouls because there has to be consequences.
Of
to
course,
when you do,
accountability all day.
Accountability is the breakfast of champions, right? This is what it is. There's no emotion around it. I either did or didn't. It's the goal that I set. It's the commitment I made.
That's right.
But see, when you have that integrity to your word, there's also ways to win if something came up or whatever, and that's new too. So there's so much that's new.
When?
It's enough that it's recognizable as bold, like
Sure.
because we know that bold works. We track people who have success. People who take bold do more business than people that don't. Period. End of story.
That's right. That's right. Wow. That's amazing, impactful. I love it. I cannot wait for you to get here and impress upon your leadership among our people. I appreciate the time that you gave today. Any last words before we sign off? I really appreciate you coming on with us.
Oh, it's I can't wait to work with your
Yeah,
people.
it's going to be amazing.
This is going to be, you all are going to be very special to me because this is my inaugural. And I feel like I've been preparing myself 17 years for this bold.
Well, we're lucky to be a part of that. So thank you so much, Melanie.
I think we're both lucky. And I'm very excited. It's the whole, all of life is an afterthought thing for me, really. All of life is an afterthought. And I heard Gary say that, and it's in bold now. But you think it and then it becomes. And all these top people, and I have so many beautiful relationships all around the country with some of our very best. We have extraordinary people. In one of the biggest compliments I ever got from one of my top megas is she came to my birthday here, and I have a pool. If you're on social media with me, you'll see lots of pictures of my pool. And she brought me 2 big pots with a bunch of succulent plants. And she said, "This is your birthday present, and I really want to tell you why I got this for you."
Yeah.
And I said, "What is this?" And she said, "Melanie, you, my dear, are a gardener of people. And you don't care whether they're a little bitty plant or they're a really big plant. You always see the greatness in them.
Wow.
And I want you to put it together the way you want it." So I'm telling you, that was the most powerful gift I ever received, because it's true. Like, whether you're like, you could be the #1 agent in the city right now where you are.
Right.
And I'm going to see the possibility in you, because it's not that something's missing. Missing's not bad. But if we just tweaked something, what's that possibility we could create together? And a lot of times those level people, it's time, it's leverage, it's people they need in there. And that's that class that I teach all around the country.
Yeah.
So I just want you to really think about, you are so worth living your best life. And when you really get that everything in your life is 100% up to you, and that you have a choice, and sometimes you just don't see what's missing in your life. And so having a coach, having great leaders like Denton and Carissa and the people that lead you, We see the greatness in you.
Wow.
It's the reason why we're bringing Bold is we see the greatness in you and we want to do the work with you. That's why I'd leave it at.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for going down this journey and committing to teaching Bold. I'm so glad that KWI asked you to do it and you accepted. So we're excited. We can't wait to have you here. Again, thank you so much for the time. If you have any questions, you want to know more about Bold, reach out to your leadership, comment below, and we'll get with you. And then we'll see you at the first step.
Let's go.
Let's go.